Hello, the internet. Welcome to the Revolver Fan First podcast, where we talk to artists about their experiences as a fan. Today, we have the mighty Will Ramos of Lorna Shore, a man who has dominated this YouTube channel of late with this performance. You've got like a killer new EP, you're bringing dragon breathing energy to a band, which is exciting.
Thank you.
You've been breathing some fire.
I'm trying, man. I just scream in the shower and in the car a lot, and then it works out sometimes. So it's one of those times where it worked out, I guess.
It worked out. Well, okay, so we go back to the beginning. This show's all about like the beginnings, the origin stories and stuff. So
yeah, let's do it.
You come from you're Puerto Rican. How did that affect your experiences of music as a little kid and stuff?
Well, my mom only played like Hispanic music around the house, period, and disco, which is like I love disco, which is really weird. People are like, yo, you like disco? I'm like, I know like all of it. I don't know their names, but if you play a song, 95% of the shit, like I know it. Like I know this song. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, this is the song. I heard it when I was 7. Anyway, but like my mom is like, she's super Puerto Rican. Like I remember one day she told me, she was like, I mean, obviously I'd already been doing music for a little while, but I remember she was like, she wanted me to be like the most salsa dancer, Puerto Rican, like the most Hispanic man. I'm like, I love that, but that didn't happen, but it's fine. I'm still Puerto Rican, but that definitely was like a hindrance. My mom was like, whoa, heavy metal. What's going on here? Where did this come into play from the disco to heavy metal? What's going on?
That's a story. This is a mystical journey to get from there to there.
Yeah.
I mean, well, how did you then find your own music? Like, who was the first artist you put on a pedestal and was like?
Well, I remember. I'll tell you. This is really. I think this is fucking like hilarious. But like, I remember I was playing guitar because I first started playing guitar like a million. I used to play a whole bunch of instruments, but I was like, at this point, I was trying to join the rock industry, whatever. So I was like, I'm gonna play guitar. Guitar's pretty cool. And one of my friends was like, dude, listen to Lamb of God. And I was like, all right, I'll give him a shot. I listened to Whitechapel. I was like, all right, I'll give it a shot. And I'm not gonna lie, I hated it. It was I was like, what is up with these people just screaming all the time? It's so loud, dude. I was like, oh. But then I kept listening to it. And then I was like, wait, hold on. Something's going on here. And it's actually pretty cool. You know what I'm saying? And then I guess just screaming a lot in the shower. And like I said, in the car.
Were you little?
It must have worked out somehow. So
how little were you when this happened?
I think I was 13 or 14. I literally like just joining high school, like everyone's in high school. It's like, I just want to fit in with the metal kids sometimes. Those are the cool kids. So I was like, you know what? Let me learn some metal things. I'm going to fit in with the cool kids. What's going on?
Repeated listens, you found it. Repeated listens.
Oh yeah, I love it now. And like now I can't not listen to Lamb of God and know all the lyrics to it, Whitechapel. Now I'm like, dude, this is amazing. What were they doing?
You became part of the culture and everything. It's a nice thing. So what
I love it.
Did you ever secretly harbor desires of being a straight ass rock star, like a straight, like clean singing? Because you can. I've seen that shit on your Instagram. You can sing the regular kind. That's just.
I wish I was more confident in my singing. I'm not gonna lie. You know how it is. Everybody's been singing the friggin' Christmas carols in the car. So I'm not gonna lie. When I was a little kid, my family was like, "Oh, you're like Justin." Timberlake, dude. I'm like, wow, I hate this example, but maybe that's why I am the way I am now. I wanted to be a singer. I don't know, but I remember that.
It's all a reaction to being compared to Justin Timberlake.
Literally, and now I think it was just because I had curly hair and I like to sing in the back of the car.
Yeah, you got a little plume, like a rooster. Yeah. You make the noises.
That was it.
Makes sense. It kind of all adds up. Well, what?
It makes sense to me, so I don't know.
So did you start playing when did you start playing in bands and stuff?
So it's weird because like I really waited as late as I could to join a band because like, I was always one of those people like, I don't want people to hear me until I'm like very confident in myself, which is why I like the same thing with singing. I don't usually post a lot of singing stuff because I'm not too confident in it. But really? Especially when it came to screaming, I was like, I don't want to join a band. I don't want to be doing anything until like I know that I'm very comfortable doing what I was doing. So that took it like I think I was like 19 or 20. I was a late bloomer in the game, but like it was only because like I was always at home just like trying to hone in on my own thing.
Did you have a teacher? Like did you have a mentor or anything? Or
at the time, no. It took me up until like after I was doing vocals for like 8 years that I was like, you know what? singing and screaming are very similar. So if I take singing lessons, it'll help me get better at screaming. You know what I mean? So it was one of those things where I ended up taking a lot of singing lessons. And I actually took opera lessons from one of my good friends a long time ago. Actually I remember from high school. Like he was the singer guy in high school. I was like, I want to be that guy. Now he does opera, and then he gave me vocal lessons. I'm like, yes,
it shows, man. Yeah, you can hold your own in the environment.
I'm hyped. Exactly. You know, I don't know.
I think a lot of people don't realize the level of complexity to like. That was a technical term, you know.
No, I get it.
There's a lot of complexity to it. Is it more interesting to write lyrics and go, I'm going to put that vocal animal there and that one there and all that kind of stuff? Like, how do you decide
it all
where?
Just kind of happen.
Yeah.
It all just like, I write the lyrics like, I don't know what's going to happen. Like, I'm just like, I'm going to write all these lyrics that mean a lot to me. Yeah. And, you know, I don't know how it's going to turn out in the end. I do one of these things where it's like when I write music, I like to do just like scat vocals, like there's just there's no words, just like, you know what I mean? Like, but it's like all screams of some sort. And then like, I'll listen back to the track and then I'll pick out certain things. I'm like, that was really cool. Or maybe I'll hear something that almost sounded like I said a word, but it wasn't exactly that word. But I was like, but if it was that word, it'd be really cool. And then I'll formulate the whole song around that, you know, that very thing. Then I'll start actually writing lyrics about stuff like that. Cause then I'll be like, all right, this is what I'm writing about. I picked out what I want to write about. So I'm just going to start going off of that. And then I get all my lines and I just start plugging them in.
So the animal comes first.
The scat vocals always come first for me. It's really weird. Very strange. Like I have a million notes in my phone, but 90% of them don't get used because I end up just doing my scat vocal thing and it works out just like that.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. Well, did you ever like, can you understand lyrics in like crazy deathcore? Like, have you always been able to do that? I've got to be honest, I can't always understand, but I get the vibe. I had heaps of rage the other day. You know, when you wake up, you have like a bit of rage. I was like, rage.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, just have a little rage. And I put on that EP and I'm like, I don't know 100%. I had to go and look up the words. But at the time I was just like, but I feel that you feel the rage. And that is something.
I was feeling it. Yeah. I was feeling it. I'm going to tell you though, like for me, it took me a long time to figure out how to like even figure out what other people are saying. And I think it was only because like I was doing like their techniques, or sometimes where like it would make sense to me as a vocalist. I'm like, okay, he's doing this sound, so he's probably using these vowels. And I heard a little or like a th or like a duh before he started it, so maybe he's saying door, you know what I mean, or something like that. And then it's like, all right, now let's put it in you know what I mean? Like
you got educated.
I don't know. I still there are some bands though, you listen to them, you're like, I don't know what this guy is saying. But I mean, this is like, it's great though, it's super sick, but you know, we don't try and go too far into that. I like being able to enunciate, so I often try to focus on that.
What was the first musical storyline you connected with? Like a concept in a musical?
Honestly, I always really got down with In Flames, like a sense of purpose, and like everything like that In Flames always put out. Like, I don't know if it was the lyrical content or the vibes that it gave me, but it was like, I always used to go skate. I used to skate a lot. I mean, I still do, but like when I was in like high school, I started skating and I'd always listen to In Flames, especially after I learned about, you know, friggin' Lamb of God and then all those other bands. I was like, ooh, In Flames is cool. And I would always jam it, and I would like board. And it was something that like, it was like angry what it wanted to be, but it was also really chill when it didn't want to be. And like, that was something that I really felt like I really connected with that, you know what I mean? And they have a whole bunch of meanings going on in their lyrics. So it's hard to tell what's going on, but it's like general vibe that I was just like, I really like this. And like, I almost wanted to try and capture something like that with the new EP because I'm not angry. I'm not very angry all the time. You know, I'm very chill for the most part, but I was like, you know, let me bring some kind of philosophy into this and just make it like a vibe. And that was a vibe.
Because there's lots of life and death and rebirth and stuff. Like, what did you want to say? Because you went through some, like, you had some experiences of mortality and stuff writing this, right? Like, you lost people close to you, and So
no, go ahead. Good to know.
So what happened there? Like, how did you kind of channel that in? And how did it kind of change the way you see life? Just
when I was originally going out to Europe, I got a call from my mom that my uncle had passed away. And that sucked because I literally was like on the plane. I'm like, what the fuck? but he was like one of the biggest supporters of like my music and like everything that I
Dude.
did. He was always like, no matter what you do it 120%. You know what I mean?
Awesome.
And
I mean, yeah.
yeah, he was when he passed away, it was like one of those things for me where I was trying to like, I'm not a very religious person. I'm not, but like I do have my own kind of philosophy about how I think things happen. Maybe it's not true, maybe it is true, but you know what I mean? It's one of those things where I felt like by writing about it, it would help me cope with what I'm going through. And at the same time, I feel like in a way, everybody is going through some kind of COVID loss or, you know, anything like that. So I was like, this means something to me. So I hope it'll also, you know, reach out to other people. And it's kind of crazy because like I've had people like messaging me and they're like, dude, like I've been going through all this. I've had loss in my life and like this has really helped me. And it's like such a beautiful moment for me because it's like I feel like I'm connecting with these people. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it's, you know, it's pain we all share. I mean, that's the biggest guarantee. We all leave, we all lose the people, we lose everyone we love. That's the way it works.
It is what it is. And it's sad, but it's also like inconsequential. There's no necessarily reason behind it, but maybe there is. But like for me, it's just got to be happy with what we got here. You know what I mean? Like totally, that's pretty much, life is what you make it to be. So if you were a happy guy, then hopefully you'll radiate that. You know? Yeah,
be a vibe. There's this bit in From the Abyss that I like. I'm just going to read your lyrics like words, and that it's kind of dorky to do this, but it's fine because I like this bit. From the carcass of a dead star to the darkness of a blackened heart, we are one in the dust, in the nothingness. We are infinite, misbegotten children of the abyss. We are infinite, Pretty cool. It's a bit of eternity.
That was one of those things where I really try and draw some kind of like, I don't know, like Buddhist kind of philosophy where it's like, you know, even if we die, like we're not, it's not the end. You know what I mean? There's necessarily I'm not trying to draw on any kind of like Christianity or anything like that, but it was just like, for me, I was like, you know what, like maybe my dude is still out there somewhere. I don't know. Maybe I'm again. That's the only thing that I can hope for.
And you're making a bit of an immortality in music. Like, you know, it's cool to see, like you made a bit of an immortality. Like that's another way to
I didn't even think about it like that, but I love that. I love to hear that.
It's what's true. Like it's egg shit. Like you I was looking at, you know, obviously you guys did that live set on our channel, on the Revolver channel.
It was great.
And it's
Asbury Park.
The vibes is hilarious. What do they say? Like I like this comment. Ever since To the Hellfire came out, I've checked under my bed every night for Will Ramos. No. I haven't been as scared of a vocalist in a very, very long time. This shit's amazing. So it's like, dude, it's a brutal like battlefield, YouTube. Like people don't hold back. And there's nothing
I think it's love. So funny.
It's nothing but love. Like you're just like, they're like, oh, we like you. We like what you've done. Come to us. You brought the thing. It's nice.
That I love it. I love reading. Like for a while, I didn't really read comments so much because, you know, you always read that one bad comment. Yeah. But recently I'm like, you know what? Forget about it. I'm going to read some comments. I've been reading comments. And some of them are just absolutely so freaking funny. Like they're like, but it's like, I love reading these things now. It's like, I love knowing that that's how people feel about it. That's how they they can make jokes about it, and it's still a great song to them. So
dude. And do you think everyone works as hard at extreme vocals as you? Like, do you spend a lot of time practicing and kind of working on your instrument?
Oh yeah, I mean, I hope that people, you know, it's one of those things where it's like maybe not, you don't even have to be a vocalist kind of thing, but like if you're a musician in general, you know, like you should always be honing in on your craft. And it's like a lot of people take it as like, I want to be a musician, but they don't actually put in the work to be a musician. And it's like, that's fine, but you can't say like you're really putting 100% into everything. You know what I mean? Like a lot of musicians out here don't have jobs because they're literally just doing their music stuff. And it's hard to compete against people like that. And they don't understand. Like, I want to be able to do that and have a job, but it's like, being a musician is not easy, you know what I mean? And it's a lot of practice, just like being an artist or just like a painter, you know, you're going to be broke for a while, but then one day it'll work out, you hope, you know, but you need to take that leap of faith kind of thing. I practice all the time. I have a studio in my house, so I'm always doing vocals. Even if it's not screaming vocals, I'm still singing, you know what I mean? Because again, singing and screaming, even practicing other genres, anything helps. But it's the fact that you're still doing it that changes, you know, the world for somebody, you know.
Totally, man. What are your go-tos? What's the dorkiest song you sing to yourself?
Mark Cohn, Walking in Memphis. See, I'm easy. That one's a good one. That one's the piano
Can
man.
you like? Can you do a bit of it now? Like you're probably warmed up.
Oh,
Go on,
man.
go on. I'll ruin your whole.
I can't. I can't. I'm not even.
I
can't do it.
No,
can't.
that's, I knew you'd have some like. What's your karaoke go-to?
That's my karaoke go.
That's
that
your guy?
one in the fray. But you know, it's one of those things again where it's like if I don't have the confidence singing, I have to be a little intoxicated. So when the karaoke is already going, already has
Sober karaoke isn't a thing, dude. Like we all know sober karaoke isn't a thing. It's not a thing.
I like exactly. You know what I'm saying? It's the whole confidence booster.
Yeah, you gotta have a little, yeah. Well, it's pretty nuts. Like you guys, so your guitarists play bass too. How the hell does this work?
They definitely do.
How does this work?
Well, we have a bass. Our bass basically goes through the computer, so they have. We program all of that.
Yeah.
But they do play it before, you know what I mean, and then they lay it down. So it's not like programmed bass or anything. Like, fortunately, all our guitarists also, they do a little dabble between the two of them. But, for live purposes, we don't have a bassist right now. Like maybe at some point in the future, but it's just easier without it right now.
Yeah.
So
well,
keep
you
working
guys
on that.
You're bringing a lot to the table. I suppose the rest of the guys are pretty nuts about their instruments as well, I would imagine.
They're insane.
Yeah, just well, when did you so back to the cult fan thing, when did you first become a fan of Lorna Shore?
I think I was in college at the time.
Yeah, what'd you study?
I studied so many. It was one of those. See, this is the thing where it's like I was going through this period of time where I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do with myself. So I didn't know if I was like, I want to be a musician, but my mom wants me to be this, you know what I mean? So I'm going to college. Like I got to do something in college, you know what I mean? And it was one of those, I was actually going for drafting at the time. I wanted to be an archaeologist or not an architect rather. I wanted to be an architect or a drafter. I wanted to be an engineer. I wanted to do like so many different things. But at the end of the day, it was just like me just trying to force myself to do something that like, yeah, I liked it, but it wasn't like my passion. And it was one of those things where I never even finished college. You know what I mean? I wasted all this money. And in the end, like it didn't even matter. It's actually, if anything, it hindered me from doing, I had opportunities to join like other bands in the past and I couldn't do it because of college. And that sucked. You know what I mean? It was like one of those things where now I'm like, you know what, just do what I want to do. You know what I mean? There's no reason not to do that. Otherwise I'm wasting my own time. Yeah. You know, and
life,
for a lot of, exactly. And for a lot of people, like they don't realize that until they're like way later and they're like, oh shit, well now I don't have time to go back and make up for, you know?
You're rock star death age.
I'm trying to just do my thing.
You're 27. You're rockstar death age. This is like
I'm trying not to die.
Yeah, don't die this year. Like, I mean, you'll be a part of a great canon of. Okay, would you rather be immortal or die in a blaze of glory?
Exactly. So,
no, which one?
I don't know. Wait, I want to go immortal, but you know, who knows? You know, fingers. I'm just trying to have a good time out here. So
you can have a good time. So you were so anyway, you got really into them. You were in college. I just sidelined that whole story. Did you go out and see them when you were like a little kid? Were you like a full scene kid?
Oh yeah, I was a full.
What did you wear? What did you wear?
I had my friggin' lips pierced. I had like the four. I the snake bites on both sides. I don't know if it was spider bites. It was a spider bite. So it was 2 and 2. I had my septum pierced, stretched, my eyebrow pierced. Like I wore the yikes. Anyway, great times. And I remember my friend was like,
wait, what drove you to do that? What makes you want to put that much in your face? Did you see?
I don't know. Like, it was so cool. I was like, you know, I'm unique. What's up? Definitely unique. But now I look back at those high school pictures and I'm like, damn. Early college, bad.
Were you silly?
But I was that scene kid, and I remember I was at this like party or something. It was, and my friend came over to me and was like, dude, check out this band. They just put out this new song. This guy didn't even listen to metal at all, and I was like, I know metal, okay? I'm a scene kid, you know. I know what I'm freaking talking about here.
Yeah.
And then he put on Godmaker, and I was like, this is really cool.
It's
I was
so
like, you might know something here that I don't know. And you know, and then I started listening to Lorna Shore ever since then, and it's been a really long time, you know.
yeah,
put it that way.
crazy. That's a really good video as well. That Godmaker.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's the one that got like everybody, or not everybody, but a majority of the people outside of the New Jersey scene into them, because they were, you know, they had like Bone Kingdom and stuff, and then that album dropped, and it was just like, oh,
it was the gateway drop.
This is sick.
Yeah. Did you come from a big scene? Was there a lot, like, did you share this fandom? Like, did you have a bunch of other scene kid dorks to like bond with, or was this your own thing?
Oh yeah. I mean,
it's New Jersey, right? Yeah.
I was the mall rat. Let's put it that way. Like, you go to the mall, like we go to the mall, I go hang out with my other scene kid friends. We all got crazy piercings on our faces and like, oh, heavy metal, you know, super sick. Just saying, great times now thinking back to it, but also like horrible times. But that was the clique. Like, we would all just go to the mall every weekend. We would hang out, we'd bond over new music. Sometimes bands would come through and they'd be like, dude, we're selling tickets. We have a show going on at the Dingbats, which was the name of the venue that was like 25 minutes from us. And we were like, all right, let's buy some tickets. So it was like the mall was the central hub of the scene.
Yeah.
Until I got too old and I was like, I need to get out of here. Can't be hanging out at the mall anymore. This is weird.
Did you see yourself in other bands? Did you see yourself like wanting to swap places, sort of thing?
Oh, of course, you know.
Yeah.
You always.
Who was the band that made you feel that way? Like you could kind of see yourself in? And you're
In Flames.
Yeah.
Let's go. I just wish that I was him, man. Anders Frieden, he's so freaking good. I just want to be him. I don't sound anything like him, but like he's so good. Anders, I hope one day you're listening to this, because you are amazing.
You should go do a thing with them. That'd be cool.
I wish. I once saw them live, and I remember be like,
You just did a thing with your old band, didn't you?
Say what?
You just did a tune with your old band.
Exactly.
So how did they fit into it? When did you get into Monument? When did you start with them and stuff? What was your first band? You got Awake in Providence. Which one? What was the order?
So I'm going to tell you, you know, if you're ever like joining the metal scene, you go through a rigorous many bands, you know what I mean? Like, you join a band with your best friend. Oh my God, we're in a band, dude. And then, you know, it didn't work out. So it's fine.
Yeah.
Say what?
Did you do that?
Oh yeah, you know, I did that with so many people, like where we all thought we had something going and nothing ever happened from it. But one of the first big bands that I ever, not even a big band, but the first band that I was ever in, ever, that I was like, this is a band, legitimate. We put out a music video, we put out music, Secrets Don't Sleep. I watched the music videos sometimes and it's like, this is so cringy because it was so long ago, but Secrets Don't Sleep was the name of my first band. And when we put out that video.
Secrets Don't Sleep or Stone Sleep?
They do not sleep.
Secret No Sleep. Oh,
pretty much.
Don't Sleep. That is so scene, dude. That is the sanest name ever.
I'm telling you, I was in college. I didn't know what I was doing.
It's so cute, Secret.
So it was great, good time.
Taking the Fringe to another level. You've made it your own, and you've made it for like proper death, like blackened death and cool. Like you've adapted. You've transformed. So Secrets Don't Sleep. What was the big tune? What was your big tune?
Our biggest tune was Still Standing. That was the name of the song. And I remember when we first put it out, we were like one of the first like local bands, like periods that had, in our scene anyway, that had music videos. Now everyone started putting out music videos. Yeah. But they did really well because we were one of the first like local bands that did a music video. I remember when we put it out, we got like over 100,000 like listens, and this is like the first song we ever put out ever. And we were like, whoa,
blowing up. You're like, yep, I'm done. I'm quitting my job. I'm out. Mic drop.
Bitch. And then we broke up.
Oh man. What was the music video like? Just a live clip?
No, wait, I'm sorry.
Like the music video. What was the music video like? What was it? Was it just
it was amazing. We were like in this spooky warehouse thing, and it was I didn't know. I watched the video sometimes and it's like, I don't know what I was wearing. I had like a really crazy very floral t-shirt, pink floral, super sick shirt. I don't know where it went. but that shirt should not have been in the music video. Alas, it was in the video. And it was just like, it was a really spooky, it was cool though, you know, it had some vibes, but our original songwriter, like right after we did the video, was like, all right, I'm moving to Tennessee to be a studio guy and study studio and go to studio school. And we were like, all right, that's fine. We'll move on without you. But when a band loses its songwriter, that's like 80% of the band. So when he left, we struggled for about another year, and then we just ended up breaking up.
Yeah. And then
great guy though. I love him. He's my roommate now. We live together.
Really? Oh,
yeah.
Is he loving seeing what's going on with you?
Oh yeah, he's we work together all the time. I think maybe one day Secrets Don't Sleep will come back, but
bring it back, man.
It was metalcore. It was metalcore.
When you guys just completely insanely blow up, you can just start some weird ass side project, and everyone will be like, "Yeah, we're so on board. We don't even care. We're just."
I'm hoping
on board.
I'm hoping for it.
Do you think the like, especially with quite heavy aggressive music? Actually, I need to ask you something. I'll retain it in my brain. Do you think it needs big personalities to survive and to flourish? Like, there's a couple of big personalities in like deathcore and stuff. Do you think it needs those kind of figureheady kind of people? And do you think there are those there?
I think it's great to have like personalities in the scene. That's what inspires other people to even want to join the scene in the first place. You know, like if somebody's very charismatic, then I want to meet this guy, I'm going to do my own thing. I should be carried. There's a lot of people out there that just have like no real personality, and they don't really want to be seen by the fans sometimes.
Yeah.
And that's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But like for me, sorry. Nope, we're back. But for me, it's like, I just feel like as a musician, if somebody, just like how I remember once upon a time I wanted to go speak to my favorite musician, and they totally blew me off. And that's fine.
Who was
but
it?
Now
I gotta know.
I'm like, I don't want to do that to anybody, It was the guy from Attila.
That's just rude, man. Like,
I get it.
It's really, I don't think it's okay.
It's not okay, but at the same time, he was at Warped Tour, and he probably got so bombarded by people. Yes. And I was just one of those guys where I was like, yo, dude, you guys are so sick, dude, like just punishing this poor guy. And he was just like, thanks, man, thanks. And then he was just like, I gotta go. And I was like, I get it, man, go. And I think back to this moment, I'm like, oh my God.
Okay, can you explain to me the new music video with the virus and the briefcase, and can you just like very briefly explain the story of it? Because I don't 100% get it, and I want to.
Well, I did not come up with the idea for the music video.
You don't have to
right now.
You don't have to tell me if you don't if it's annoying.
I couldn't even tell you if I wanted to.
I know, I'm a bit confused.
But I know.
Am I not allowed to say
really
that?
Sick.
It's fucking awesome.
Pretty much, we had a guy, like he was coming up with the whole concept. Like he was part of our team. You know what I mean? Yeah. And he was just like, here, why don't you guys try something like this? And we wanted to go down this kind of futuristic route. In some kind of way. Because everybody always goes to the past. You know what I mean? Like, let's go in the back in the day. Well, let's go like do something in the future. You know what I mean? Like we're trying to be different than other, people in our genre. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that was one of our things that we really try to work on. And when we heard the original concept, we were like, this is great. Let's throw some tweaks in it, and then let's just see what happens. And it'll be great at the end of the day. At the end of the day, it's the music for us that makes the video. You know what I mean? The video is just kind of like something to entertain your eyes while it's going on.
I mean, you made 3 solid tunes. I love 3 tunes because it's such a concise thing. Like, you just got the 3 bangers, and it's like, if they're all bangers, everyone's just like, well, you can't argue with that. You can't argue with 3 bangers at once. Like, it's just, you can't. It's the Holy Trilogy. It's the Holy Trinity.
We try over here. Okay.
So how's it going? You must be writing more stuff. What are you listening? What do you ingest? Like, what do you listen to when you're writing and stuff? I don't know I had to do this, but I did.
No, you're fine. I try not to listen to too much stuff because of just like, it's easy to take something from somebody else without even realizing it, because you listen to it so many times that it kind of becomes what you're doing. But I like to be like, more original, I guess. So the only thing that I've really been jamming is Rivers of Nihil. They're a fantastic band, but like even then, like that's not even like super, like it's not super down our alley of music. So it's one of those things where I try and explore like that kind of stuff, like things that aren't the same what we've been doing, you know what I mean? Something that's not gonna like I might accidentally take from this and then put it in my music. So as weird as it sounds,
you're gonna get futuristic. You're gonna make a new sound. You've kind of, I mean,
we're trying.
Yeah. What would, if you had to make a new sound and it was the soundtrack to a movie, what would the movie be like for the new Lorna Shore?
Oh my God, it would be like the world falling apart or something, like something cataclysmic and epic at the same time, just because like the orchestra really like carries it, you know what I mean? You hear the orchestra, you're like, this is really cool, this sounds like a movie, like literally, like I sometimes like exactly like what you're saying, like I feel like I could take certain segments of like And I Return to Nothingness and just dump it into a movie, and it would be so cool and it would be epic. And I feel like a lot of people have actually picked up on that. People have been like, dude, this doesn't even sound like a deathcore song. It sounds like an epic, like, I don't even know what the word is, but like just a part of a movie. Like a score. Thank you. It's like a score. Like it literally sounds like a score. And I'm like, dude, hell yeah. Like I love to hear that kind of stuff. Make it more than it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I think all good music has a visual element. Like it just feels like that. Like, like we just had the guy from the Melvins on here, and he did this 4-hour acoustic album, and it sounds like a 60s death cult. Like first night everyone got like brought on board. They're like, yeah, drink the Kool-Aid, we're gonna do this, Manson murders.
That's so sick.
That's might be just me being weird, but that's what it sounded like to me. And it's important to have that visual element. Like, are you gonna do like a big crazy concept album? I bet you've already made a bunch of stuff. You've made stuff.
I mean, you've
secretly made things.
It's like
you have.
I'm gonna tell you, I am always working on things. Just like how I was saying before, where like my notes are just full of crap. But sometimes I draw back from that, you know what I mean? But for the time being, it's like everybody is working on their own stuff, hoping that like, you know, as you keep focused, you know, just writing your own things. Let's put it this way, nothing is set in stone, you know what I mean? We're just going to continue writing and hoping for the best, and then eventually we'll pick out what we want to do, but it is still a process, to put it simply.
You're a process. Well, what like, when did you start writing lyrics? Did you have a moment where you felt compelled to put shit to paper, like a drama or a heartbreak or a anger or some kind of emotional thing that went, I gotta write this down?
Well, specifically, I mean, you know, my uncle and all that. So that was my big.
But when you were little, like when you were starting, when you first.
I don't know. I'm not gonna lie. When I used to take English, I used to be in English class, and this is one of those things where like, you know, you care about too much what other people think about you, especially when you're in high school and like you're still trying to like just figure yourself out, but you want to fit in. But I remember like being in high school and like I was too embarrassed to meet up with my English teacher after class, like in the class, obviously, but I wanted to, because I was really interested in poetry, and like I always thought it was really cool. And I remember one time I wrote some poem and I emailed it to my professor. I was like, tell me what you think, is this trash? And then she was like, dude, let's just talk about this, we could definitely go over all this. And I was like, never went back to do that. But it was like, for me, writing has always been something that like I've always done on my own spare time. And like, I even joined like writers, I think it was writers, creative writing club, which was like, you know, we'd meet up after school sometimes and we'd just write down anything and then just read it out to the rest of us. So that was like, that was my big thing. I always like that kind of stuff.
You can tell you're a writing guy.
Thank you.
You know, I couldn't understand them all, but I did look them up and I was like, this is solid, man. There's some shit in here. There's some good shit. You know,
thank you.
Do you have like a bunch of ideas? Like, do you go, it has to be about death and destruction? Like, is there like a lyrical like box that you can't stray out of? Like, you're not going to write a song about girls and cars.
We probably won't write a song about girls and cars.
I mean,
that would be really cool. You know, maybe one day, but for
just
now,
in amongst the death and destruction, just this random ass song just about cars and girls.
That could be really cool. People would probably get down.
They'd get so mad.
Like, this is sick.
They'd get so mad, or they'd love it, or it'd be evenly split.
I think it would be an even split. Like it appeals to somebody deep down, the car people, and then the girls. So it's pretty much everybody.
Yeah. Does it feel like because where is the line? Do you just go whatever, or do you feel like
I
that?
try and do whatever. I try and like, especially like now, because again, like what I was saying, like we want to like change some, like be a little bit different from the genre, or like even like one of the concepts that I'm actually working on right now is just like, it's not, and it's nothing about death, you know what I mean? It's more of like another philosophical, you know, concept. And that's the kind of stuff that I want to start shooting towards. I don't want to necessarily shoot towards death, gloomy, blah, 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 blah. Like I just want it to be like existential vibe.
Yeah, dude.
You know, and there's a dark, heavy thing going on, but it's not necessarily dark and heavy the entire time. You know what I mean? Just like how I said, like just like how that EP kind of turned out.
Yeah, dude.
We want to keep putting. I personally want to keep putting out more stuff like that. Maybe a little bit less death. Like we did death. That's cool, but you know, now I want to move a little bit further away from that.
Well, you can get some like real ideas across in this kind of frame. Like you can get like serious ideas and, you know, like concepts and like philosophy, because I think in that, and I think like death metal-y kind of stuff, people are in, like I was talking to the dude from Rage Against the Machine, and we're like, they pushed a lot of really radical ideas through really fucking like filth music and stuff. But I think this is different in that there's this level of emotion that's really primal that comes through this, where I think you're actually pushing people are even more open-minded, because you kind of have to be open-minded to be able to take it on. I don't know whether I'm actually saying words, but it's kind of like, it's a really interesting place you're getting people to with this kind of vocals. Does it feel like that? Do you feel like something? Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, it's you know, like I said, we try to do so many different things that like we just wanted to appeal to everybody, but at the same time, just like our community. I don't even know, but the way it worked out, it was I couldn't be happier, you know, let's put it that way.
Yeah. How did you feel the first time you sang like this in front of people?
Oh, crazy.
Yeah.
I remember Secrets Don't Sleep.
Get on it.
I had my another floral shirt on. I like flowers. Look, I have this hat actually.
Dude,
I wasn't gonna wear it for the interview.
But
this is my hat. It's got some flowers.
It's pretty.
I wasn't gonna wear it.
That's strong shit. That's good.
Thank you. See, I'm out here. I got flowers. I like flowers. And that one show, I had a floral shirt, a Hawaiian shirt actually, and there was like 20 people at the show. So I was having an anxiety attack. Obviously, the first time on stage, I'm like, 20 people. So it's crazy how it all changes over time.
Okay, 5 songs that changed your life.
5 songs that changed my life. Off the top of my head, all right, Sense of Purpose. Let's just throw that one in there. That's literally the title track on the album. Another one, Where Owls Know My Name is a fantastic one by Rivers of Nihil.
Yep.
Just like changing, like
who you are is like your fabric, like your.
Honestly, it's so hard because it's like I want to just name every single In Flames song.
Yes, you can pick one.
Good.
You can pick one.
Okay, In Search of I. In Search for I. Boom, there it is. That's my In Flames song right there. That one is so sick.
And your musical Mount Rushmore.
Musical Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, if there were like 5 stone faces carved into the side of a thing, that is who the weird face is. I think it'd be really awesome if you could. You should get to the level with this band where you can have a Mount Rushmore. Like, you just be like, make it so.
Let's go.
Like,
how do we do that? Sign me up for that.
Let's do it. So go on.
I'm gonna have to say it has to be Where Owls Know My Name by Rivers of Nihil. Like, even though it's one of those things where like I just recently have been getting into them, it's still like, for me, like listening back to it, it's not incredibly heavy. It's not like a fuck death angry thing. It's like, it's one of those like, it is heavy when it wants to be, but it's super existential and it's super like, it's a vibe, you know? And I think things like that really, like, for me anyway, like a listener, I think it just goes further, because, you know, you can listen to you can listen to a breakdown 1,000,000 times and be like, okay, this isn't as like heavy as it once was, but it's still certain things when they're put together really well musically, like they stand for me the test of time. And that's one of those like Rivers of Nihil, like I can't imagine them being like they're amazing. They really change things with as far as like the scene goes, and that's why for me, like, I want to do something like that as well. So.
Yeah. What do you want your legacy to be? Don't die yet.
So what do you mean?
Like, stick around, dog. Like
what do you mean?
What do you want to make this band? Like, because, you know, you guys, I mean, you know, you've got like a fair proportion of your band's been in there for a bit, but, you know, you got some, obviously you're a lot of fresh blood, and you've got some new members and stuff. Like, what from the old band did you want DNA wise to carry over, and what do you want to do with it?
I want to continue this, you know, existential, philosophical, orchestral, you know, like vibe that we have, because again, I think that's the kind of stuff that like it sticks to me. And like we have all of the super fucking like heavy techie elements that we had before. If anything, we just brought it to the next level. So I'm hoping that if anything, we just become like the most extreme, like deathcore metal, whatever you want to call it,
like that word?
But at the same time, not extreme. You know what I mean? Like we aren't always talking about death. We're talking about other things, but it's still, you get that vibe that something is like really epic is happening. That's what I want. Yeah,
it's awesome. Like existential nihilism.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, like existential nihilism. And you got like a Rivers of Nihil, because it's just like there is no inherent meaning, but we apply our own meaning. And that is
exactly how I carry my life. That is, in a nutshell, how I carry everything. And I want that to be what we're talking about. You know what I mean?
That's huge.
I want you to feel, you know, when you saw that one movie where it was at the end of the movie and something horrible was happening, or like really sad, but then it ended up working out, and then you're just like, ah, and you just want to cry, but you're really happy at the same time. It's like that. I would love for somebody to feel that in the crowd.
It makes you think, it makes you feel, it makes you cry, it makes you
yes. And it makes you a little angry too sometimes. I want all of that for New Lord. That's the legacy that I'm trying to perpetuate in the future.
Yeah. Who are your favorite thinkers?
My favorite who?
Thinkers. Like people with philosophy.
Honestly?
Yeah.
I can't right now. Go away. I'm in an interview.
Are you done? You good?
No, you're good. You're good. You're totally fine. It's somebody who's trying to distract me over here. Yeah, that's me. Anyway, philosophy, I'm not gonna lie, I took philosophy in college and I didn't pick up crap. There were too many names. There was like, it was so dry. It was one of those things. Dog. I'm like, I can't even pretend that I know what's going on.
Hunter S. Thompson. That's all you need. Hunter S. Thompson.
See, I've heard these names. I'm like, these people are amazing. Like, they've changed how we think as people, but there were so many people that did that throughout history that like I wish my memory was that good. But there were things that I picked up from everybody, which is why, like, in a way where it's like, you know, I do have this like how the existential like nihilism. I get like that. Like that's how somebody once told me. Like I was telling them how I felt about like everything, and they're like, you might be more inclined towards this route, you know, of thinking and these types of people again. But it's like, I just try to pick out the things that like stuck out to me from all of these philosophers. My dad went to college for philosophy.
Oh, really?
I wish I learned more names, but if anything, I'm glad that I picked up the thoughts that these people had and I made it my own, you know.
There you go.
Ooh, no, I'm back again. Hi.
But it's interesting. Like it's interesting as an artist getting to kind of make it your own pie, make your own creative pie from all the ideas that you have around, and, you know, and getting to work with guys who are clearly so good at their instruments as well, that everyone's kind of bringing in all the stuff that they love. And can I give you 5 really random ass questions?
Of course.
Okay. What, if anything, is too serious to be joked about?
I want to say death. You know, people always joke about death, and I think, you know, it's good for people if that's what that's how they cope and stuff. But for me, like, I don't really cope too well with that. And I think it's also when people start joking about that kind of things, you know, things like that, rather, you know, it gets a little awkward for other people. It's kind of like, this isn't really funny to anybody else. I'm glad that you think it's funny, but like everyone else is like, dog. So for me, like, I think it's just better to leave, you know, like death and things like that. Like everybody.
That is a bummer of a question. Sorry, dude. Okay. If you could wake up tomorrow having gained any one ability or quality, what would it be?
I would fly. Let's go.
Yeah.
I'm gonna freaking fly. I just
You
want
got
to
the
fly.
right
I'd
hair
be
for
so
it.
sick. I'm ready to go. Let's
You
go.
could be a
My hair would
bird.
just be. My hair would be like.
Are you embracing this? Is this going to be your trademark? Have you thought about this? Like you can throw it around when you sing and like that thing. It's strong, dude. Like it's strong to have a trademark hair, you know?
I think so. I don't know how this happened. I just
Yeah.
kind of like people ended up associating me with this horrible. It's so
funny.
bad right now.
It's solid. I'm into it. Like it's a good thing. You've got a thing, you know? People.
Thank you.
You know, everyone looks the same in this thing. You know, you need a little variety in the hair thing. You know,
this is it. This is nobody has curly hair.
Yeah, it's true. What does friendship mean to you?
Everything.
Yeah.
I mean, there's everybody has 100 million friends, but then you get older, you're like, you have like 4 or 5 friends. You have a million acquaintances.
Yeah.
But between me and my 5 friends, actually, one called me earlier today. So, just be like, I hope you're having a good time on tour. And it's things like that where I'm like, you know what? Nobody is going to do that for me. Like, like fans will always be like, I hope you're having a great time. But it's like my best friends are still there calling me just like,
yeah,
you're fine. How is everything? So for me, friendship is, that's brotherhood. I love that. That's family.
There is a whole brotherhood, really. I mean, you're kind of in a 4-way marriage and stuff. Like you are married to those dudes,
Yeah.
Mainly,
yeah.
And it's mainly like waiting. Like your job is mainly waiting. Like, let's be real. You go and you do the whole thing, but it's mainly waiting. I mean,
it's great though. I love it.
Yeah. Are you guys going to be tight forever? Have you found your okay? Who would eat each other first on a desert island in Lorna Shore? Who would be the first one to go?
Austin would be dead first.
Yeah, just
maybe.
gone. Just
because he's the thickest, so he would be the juiciest. It would be like we only got to kill one for a little while. We'll be good. But
these are important questions.
Just for a little while, and we hope somebody comes to save us. He's also too nice, so he'd probably be like, "Just kill me. It's fine. You guys can live."
Okay. 3 people you want to be stuck in an elevator with.
Justin Timberlake.
Yeah.
Justin Timberlake, just because it would be absolutely hilarious, and Anders Frieden because.
I wonder what you guys.
Oh, and 3, one more.
Yeah. You need one more.
That's a tough one there. I knew those 2 right off the top of my head. That was
really
easy,
did.
You know what I'm saying? That one was really easy.
Did you have anyone who like? Yeah, actually, yeah. Keep going. I'm just keep going.
I can't even. I think I got to stop at 2. I only got 2 right now.
I mean, it's pretty crowded. You can just be those 3 dudes. Maybe you could come out of it with a song or something.
See, that would be crazy. Imagine.
Yeah. What would be your dream collab like situation? What band would you like to do stuff with?
Rivers of Nihil and definitely In Flames. 100%. You already know.
Yeah. They already know.
We did, but I can say it again. It's fine.
We're just reinforcing it. This is what's up. This is what's
exactly.
Up. Did you have like someone who was like your gateway drug to bands? Like, did you have a friend who was like, dude, this, and then try this, and then try that?
As far as doing vocals or just music in general?
And music in general, but either, whatever. Actually, yeah.
As far as music, it was definitely like I had a friend when I first started playing guitar. Like it was that guy where he was like, listen to In Flames, and then like throughout all of high school, like he was like, try out these other bands, and that's what he kind of opened me up to the metal community and the metal world in general that I didn't really know existed as much.
Do you think it's changed a lot, like since you kind of got into it?
I think it's evolved. I think it's gotten better because especially since social media has become more accessible. Like I've actually found that even when like people that don't have scenes in their area have now been able to develop an online scene where TikTok will be doing like really well. You know what I mean? Like I've been seeing people posting things on TikTok that have been just taking off and other people sharing it. And then like, these people aren't even in bands. They're just screaming, in their phone. And it's like, it's things like that. I'm like, the community is just evolving. It's becoming more accessible to people. And yes, it is changing, but that just means that you just got to try, just keep doing what you don't stop, and then you'll be doing just as well as everybody else. You'll be in the community just like everybody else.
Don't stop believing, as they say.
Never stop.
Yeah, it's important. Like it's a whole thing. It's well, what are you kind of fanning out on the moment, like young bands and stuff? What are like some newer bands that you're into?
There's one band called Enox. They're really good. They were from Lancaster. I don't know where they're based out of now. They might be based out of Georgia, but they're absolutely fantastic. They're a metalcore band, but they're so bouncy and just like, I don't even know how to describe it. He's one of my favorite vocalists. His name is Michael Gavaris. He's really good. And then another one that I think is coming up, Black Lotus. I don't know. A lot of people, they're from Jersey, actually. They need more, more respect on their name, but they're fantastic. Like as a band, like they're super heavy. And I think also another one of those things where the vocalist is a fantastic vocalist.
Yeah.
So shout out to those guys.
You can't have it's like there's never been a really great heavy metal band with a terrible drummer. It's hard to have a terrible vocalist. Actually, you kind of need to all be pretty good. You kind of all need to be bringing it a bit.
Pretty much.
You really like, you can't suck. Like, does it ever freak you out? Like you obviously, do you ever like freak out before shows that you're going to like not nail it? Or are you just like, fucking, I rule?
Sometimes, everybody gets in their head sometimes about, am I going to do okay today? Is it going to be really hot? Am I going to sweat and then die? And sometimes I like, we did one show on this tour that it was so hot. It was like you left the green room and you start sweating immediately. You haven't even walked into this room where the stage is. And I was like, oh man, this is not going to be good. You power through it, but it's that moment where you start to realize you're like, what is going to happen? What's going on?
Well, did you know it was going to be right? Like, because you were obviously you were stand-in for a bit, and then you just won them over. They were like, yeah, let's not commit. And then they're like, yep, you're ours. We're doing this shit. Was there a moment where you're like, this is so going to be the thing?
I knew that it was the thing when we were actually in Europe.
Yeah.
I just couldn't tell anybody. So I had to go around telling everybody that I was just filling in. Like, oh, I'm just filling in. Just to fill in. And everyone's like, yep, they're just filling in. Everybody's just filling in. You read it here. And Will said he was just filling in. Oh, and so it kind of threw everybody off for a bit. But I knew that entire time. I was like, the last year and a half since that tour, I was like, I'm pretty much in the band.
What was the first music that violently pissed you off? I've got to we got to delve into this, how you went from disco and like salsa music to like black metal, making black metal. We're missing a part of the story here. So what, like when you're a little kid, like when did you like, how did you, it's a big leap.
It went from disco to Lamb of God, and then from Lamb of God to
and there's nothing in between. Disco,
and then that was when I started to go to like singing and stuff. It was like a singing, screaming music, which is all metalcore, which is why we made Secrets Don't Sleep, because it was singing and screaming. And then I was like, you know what? I don't even really sing, but I scream. And I at the time I was always like practicing like Infant Annihilator, like back when they first started, because at the time they never did anything live and their stuff was really hard. So I was like, if I can master that, I'll be a better vocalist, period. But by listening to Infant Annihilator, I realized that I actually liked Infant Annihilator. And then I was like, I need to join a deathcore band. I love this, especially after, Secrets Don't Sleep ended. And that's when Awaken Providence started. And and that's kind of how it all happened.
What was your experience? What was your experience with Awaken Providence like? You have a nice time?
It was great guys.
Yeah.
In the end, we all had our own personal qualms, and a couple of us split off, and that's fine. But they still exist.
Yeah, cool.
Still doing their thing.
Yeah. Have you done any weird features lately?
I did one for Monument of a Memory recently, my last band, just because like I worked on the album with them, and they were like, let's just keep this one part because your vocals sounded great. And I was like, all right, let's keep it. And then that was it. That's nothing too weird though. I'm trying to keep it, I don't want to do too many vocal feats because everyone's asking me, and I don't want to pick favorites or anything. You got your own thing. Monument is they're my homies, so I got to give them that.
Yeah. Who the live mix on that set you did on our YouTube channel was insane. Was that just a really good sounding room, or do you guys have a really good engineer?
We have so our sound guy is really good. He makes us, first of all, he's fantastic. But
like seriously, dude, that's the best live mix I've ever heard of like this kind of music. Insane.
He's amazing. It was we all, I think the sound was just fantastic in there in general. Like that place, the Independent is, I think that's what it's called, is just known for having really good sound. It's one of the bigger venues in Jersey that still exists. So the sound was good. We had a good sound guy. You know what I mean? Like, what can you ask for?
What was your first concert?
Motionless in White. I was like 17 years old.
With all that shit in your face.
Yep. I was the first kid in line. I was the first one on that line.
Really?
Yep. I got there before the bands got there.
Really?
That's how you know. These are long. Yeah. Good times.
Yeah. He's the Whip King Cabaret.
Yeah.
So Whip King, just banging up for it. Why Motionless in White? Why were they first?
They were just heavy. That was one of those singing, screaming bands. They did screaming, they did singing. And so I was a scene kid and they kind of emanated some kind of scene kid vibe. So in the end, it was like, I guess this is where I'm going. And that was the first show.
Yeah, nice. What was the soundtrack to your first Heartbreak?
Oh.
Is it lame?
No. Let it burn down and cry. You know, talking about that one song. I think it's called Burn. I don't know. I think it might be Usher. That's how you talk. Wow. I think he made that song. But if you know what song I'm talking about, me just singing that to you probably it vibrated in your head a little louder than you expected it to. Yeah.
Oh man. Oh, it's a world, man. It's a world out there.
It's a vibe.
It's a vibe. It's interesting now that people are gonna have like some songs you've made are gonna be soundtracks to like important things in their lives.
Oh yeah, I think that's crazy. People have been saying like,
weird shit. Yeah, what's the vibe from the fans? Fan first, or fan second? What are your fans?
I have fans telling me that like I'm Phil Bozeman to them, and that's weird to me because I'm like, I look at Phil Bozeman, I'm like, I'm not Phil Bozeman, but the fact that like other people have just been like looking up to our music and just sharing our stuff and like you know, all this impact that it's been giving on other people, it's like I love to hear it no matter what, you know what I mean? It's fantastic, but I can't relate to that. I just see myself as that guy still screaming in my freaking shower, my car, my room, you know, that's it. So,
what's your shower singing song? What's your favorite song to sing in the shower?
Well, now I don't have to sing in the shower too much, but I got some Belmont, you know, I play some Belmont on my Amazon Alexa going on. It's pretty good, you know. I love pop. I've been trying to get into like more pop punk music recently. So Movements, Belmont, you know, all of that. So good.
Yeah.
So good.
And you like the Midnight secretly.
Oh my God. I love the Midnight. I tell you, this song goes back to those disco days.
Yeah. Yes.
You see now? You see people like, how this guy doesn't listen to the Midnight? I'm like, yes, I do listen to the Midnight. You don't even know what I used to listen to when I was a little kid.